It's time for Kadlec On Call on 610 KONA. Brought to you by Kadlec Health Systems. It's your opportunity to call in and get your health questions answered. Call 547-1610. That's 547-1610. Now, here's Jim Hall.
And a good Wednesday evening, everyone. Jim Hall with you for another edition of Kadlec On Call. And every Wednesday at this time from 6 to 7 p.m., we pick out a particular health or medical topic and come your way with health experts from whatever that topic might be and bring them in to share their wisdom with you and make you aware of all kinds of health-related activities that you should be interested in, whether they involve Kadlec or whether they're some of the other community agencies that are affiliated with Kadlec. And really, it all boils down to education. That's the purpose of this program that we have done now for about 7 years every Wednesday evening to educate the community about healthcare services. And really, it's a key principle, I think, in just on how Kadlec as an organization communicates and educates its patients from around the area, not only when they get sick, but relative to tonight's topic, helping them stay well. And so tonight we're going to spend our hour talking about some of the really important but also fun, new, some of the classes that are offered at Kadlec Regional Medical Center that you might not be aware of, that whatever your age, you may be wishing to take part of in the coming days, weeks, and months. And I might mention, last week we touched on an event that's happening as we speak over in Richland, and that's the Concussion Summit featuring the team doctor of the Seattle Seahawks, Dr. Stan Herring. Certainly, we had Dr. Jacobs in last week to address the issue of concussions in sports, and certainly it's one that's gaining a lot of attention. And tonight, it's drawing a lot of people. Currently, they are doing an educational program featuring Dr. Herring to physicians and nurses over in Richland, and there's about 100 people attending that event. And then they will be quickly heading to the Richland Red Lion, where they will be presenting to the community the importance of concussion awareness and concussion management. And at least 300 people are already signed up for that event. That gets underway at around 6:30 tonight over at the Richland Red Lion. And we want to point out, really, before we get into tonight's program, the motivation for the concussion awareness in this state. Washington State has been a leader, and it's thanks to the unfortunate situation of the Lystedt family. Zachary Lystedt, about 9 years ago, was injured playing middle school football and suffered a concussion. He returned to play too quickly, and he suffered a concussion that has impacted his life forever. And his family has taken concussion awareness on as their passion, and they travel the state, they travel the country, talking at events like that to make sure you and I and everybody who has children, grandchildren, or anybody who plays athletic events or activities that might sustain a head injury, that they're aware of the concussion symptoms. So really an important, fun event, and we're thankful to have the Lystedt family and Dr. Herring here as well to educate our community. Now on to tonight's topic. We're going to cover a couple of different areas relative to community education at Kadlec. That is, in one area, we're going to talk about some of the educational offerings, such as when a family is going to have a baby, the childbirth education classes, babysitting type classes that are offered at Kadlec Regional Medical Center, even some first aid and CPR instruction that certainly everyone should take advantage of, whatever their age. And so we'll be touching on that. We're also going to be touching on, we've focused on the Kadlec Healthplex that just began its second year of service over on Lee Boulevard in Richland, that facility that offers more than 20 different Kadlec outpatient services. And they also offer a number of community classes. And so we have Becca Bender, who is a fitness specialist, to talk about some of those new and some of those long-standing classes that are offered. I want to begin, though, with Megan Boucher, who works at Kadlec's Education Department. And I know Megan has a pretty good breadth of understanding about really the whole philosophy behind why the importance of educating the community in the healthcare arena. And Megan, why don't you begin by just maybe sharing from a philosophical view just the importance of whether it is a childbirth class or a babysitting class, why that's important to be able to offer those to members of our community.
Well, I think that for all of us, it's wanting to relay information that helps the participant either become more of an expert in a skill, or that they are prepared. For example, like when you come for prepared childbirth, before you have the baby, there's a lot of information that we can give you and that we can answer questions, and then you feel more confident and you have a better understanding of what to expect. Good babysitting is another example of where children are just beginning to move into the age of going into people's homes and doing child care. And there again, we want them to be prepared. We want them to have some first aid skills. We want them to learn things that will help them to safety for themselves when they're entering the home, the best way to get a job. So I think most of what we offer is so that people are prepared and they have the skills necessary to keep them safe or to keep them well. And from our end, that's really important. And we have all these experts and all these people who have great information and a passion for these classes, and they really want to be able to pass that along and to help people in our community and in outlying areas.
Okay, let's first touch on prepared childbirth.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've taken my classes, and has it changed over the years? And give us an idea of a new family. Say a family just has that experience, they're going to be a first-time parent, and what kind of offerings does Kadlec provide that they can take advantage of to help ease their way?
Good question. Yeah, it's been a while for me too, but some things, birth has been the same for years and years and years, so that's okay. Of course, there's always new techniques, new procedures, and so a first-time parent, particularly the mom will register. She can bring any care partner that she wants, and they come and we start with talking about third trimester issues, whether it's nutrition, exercise, things of that nature, and then they will touch on things to expect, during the labor. When to come, when you come, where do you go? And, pre-registering, all of those things. Then they're going to talk about, breathing techniques and ways to comfort measures during labor itself. And then last but not least, then they talk all about baby, going home and, postpartum, what that will look like for the mother, what she can expect, how she prepares for that, taking that new baby home and what it's like for that first bath, or what are we going to be doing with, breastfeeding or diapering. So it just kind of helps walks a mom through that journey. Also, we have other classes that help support those first-time moms, because we have things like the infant massage, for example. So
infant massage, okay.
So that's something.
Tell me more.
Tell you more. And actually, that's one that Becca probably can speak to a little bit better. Sure. But yeah.
And Becca is a fitness specialist, works out of the Kadlec Healthplex, and I'm going to tee it up for you right there. Megan just said infant massage.
Yeah.
Interesting. Tell me about that.
So basically, through the massage with the infant, it's supposed to help relieve gas and colic. And so essentially the baby should sleep better. And it's also kind of a bonding thing for the mother and the baby, or even the dad. It doesn't just have to be the mother. And they do it, actually, the next session is May 30th from 9 to 10:30 at the Healthplex. And you can register online for that. And it's $35.
And it's just exclusive to the infant massage, not part of the childbirth classes,
correct.
right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah,
and
so it's separate.
And the childbirth classes, though, are those like a series of classes? How often are those offered, I guess, if you go to those?
Yeah. So we have usually 4 different courses a month. We have weekday evening courses that run for 3 consecutive weeks. So, for example, you might pick a session that starts on Tuesday evenings, and it will be for 3 Tuesday evenings in a row.
Okay.
Yes, correct. The other thing we offer is a weekend course, so they would come on a Friday evening and return Saturday morning. And the other one that we offer is an online. So if there's for some reason you're unable to come and participate in a class,
really, you
can take the course online. Also, we offer that in Spanish. So if we have people English as a second language, they're welcome to participate.
So is that like a webcast type of situation?
It is. They receive 2 manuals at home, and what's great is it works right along with our courses. So they will see the same video content, they will see the same worksheets that we use, and they have 6 months at access. There's a PIN number on the back of those manuals, and for 6 months they're able to access those websites, review information. So it's a great course if you're not able to come to one of our classes.
And the childbirth classes are geared toward obviously the mom, but whatever care partner they bring, whether it's a husband, a spouse, a partner, a family member, maybe a mom or
Absolutely.
A daughter, or who knows what.
Absolutely.
Right?
Moms that are laboring, definitely need a partner. Moms, once they return home, definitely need a care partner. And so they are going to talk through coaching techniques. They're going to, what to expect, anything that might be a red flag when mom is home, helping her during that time. Absolutely. Great information for both mom and the care partner.
And those are available at Kadlec Regional Medical Center. We're visiting with Megan Boucher from Kadlec's Education Department. If you'd like to sign up for the Prepared Childbirth Education classes, you can do so online. You go to Kadlec's website, which is kadlec.org, and on that main page, you can scroll down and find the little icon that says Register for a Class. Very intuitive to find, easy to find. So go to the Kadlec website, and that has a list of all of the community-based classes through Kadlec's Education Department, and you can sign up and actually pay for those classes online as well, so that when you show up to attend, all you're doing is focused on learning, whether it's in that prepared childbirth class or not. For the classes available at the Kadlec Healthplex, 942-2660, is that right, Becca?
Yes.
You can call, and we're going to get in during the course of the hour more than just the infant's massage class that Becca addressed. And we're going to also talk about some of the other classes, such as CPR, that are available at Kadlec Regional Medical Center. Education is our focus tonight. We'll be back with more in just a minute.
You're listening to Kadlec On Call on 610 KONA. This program is not a substitute for direct consultation with your own healthcare provider. Always consult your healthcare provider for your specific condition, especially if you have or suspect you may have a medical problem. Now back to Kadlec On Call. Here again, Jim Hall.
And we're continuing our discussion tonight talking about a wide array of community education classes that are offered at Kadlec Regional Medical Center, both through the Kadlec Education Department and offerings available at the Kadlec Healthplex, which is located over on Lee Boulevard. Our first segment, we touched on some of the prepared childbirth classes that are available and really certainly important to making sure that healthy babies are born and decreasing the incidence of early arrivals and prematurely born babies. And certainly the prenatal care is so vital to having healthy babies. Now I want to touch a little bit more on some of the more mainstream type classes relative to CPR instruction. And I know there's a lot of activity at Kadlec regarding CPR instruction. Brenda Shiplet is one of the community educators with Kadlec. And Brenda, give us an idea the purpose of and the training that someone could get when they take a CPR class at Kadlec.
Okay. Well, the CPR is, the basis of it is what can you do to help maintain somebody until the EMT arrives? What can you do? And so we work through the American Heart Association and have broken it down into some really easy, user-friendly steps as far as how to do good, effective CPR.
And what are some of those key steps? I know, obviously, everybody thinks they have to do the full flow and mouth-to-mouth and memorize how many compressions and the chest compressions and things like that. But obviously, I'm sure if you learn the full course, that's the case. But isn't some of the philosophy changing on what people should know, even if and some youth should know relative to CPR instruction?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, number one is getting emergency services there ASAP. The other thing is being aware of if there's an AED, an automated external defibrillator around, is there one in the area, and how do you use it? That's really what's going to help save that person. And then the other thing that AHA, American Heart Association's focus has been on is really good quality compressions. They're finding that the compressions are really the most effective piece in the CPR.
Is there some work, though, in these classes, too, just on the fear of worry of someone, their apprehensive nature about just getting involved and doing whatever CPR they may be able to do? Yeah.
My goal as an instructor is to help make sure that you feel confident in your skills so that if something were to happen, you would know exactly what steps to take. The classes aren't just boring classes. They're hands-on. Be prepared to do some sweating and get your heart rate up and to really get in there and do some breaths and do some compressions. And it's a lot of hands-on skills.
And I know at Safe Kids Saturday, we had just a couple Saturdays ago on the Kadlec campus. And I know, Megan, you were there, weren't you, I believe?
Yes.
And I wanted to touch on a little bit just on some of the work. Even there, you don't have to go enroll for a full day, but I know Kadlec has been pretty active along with the paramedics, especially its partnership with the Richland Fire Department, to train folks on what they call hands-only CPR. Is that right?
Correct. So American Heart Association has been rolling out a new program, and it's the hands-only CPR. And essentially, you're going to do a tap and shout to identify if the person that you're concerned about is truly unconscious.
Tap and shout.
Tap and
Explain.
shout. So you're going to tap on their shoulders and say, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And if they're non-responsive, then we just move into 2 steps. The first one is just like Brenda had said, you need to be making a call, 911, get EMS on the way. And then the second is that high quality compressions. And so we will show you, hand placement, where that needs to be, what kind of depth, what kind of rate, and work with you on that. And then that's it. And so it really demystifies it for participants, so it can just be the mom down the street or your neighbor or yourself, that you don't have to worry about the ratios and breathing and germs and counting. And so it really is a great program and a great first step. It's a great first start.
So on the compressions, it's to do them consistently correct, right?
Exactly.
And is the interval,
So you're going to be doing, with compressions, you're doing at least 100 per minute. And with an adult, you're going to be doing it 2 inches deep. And so, it's just continuing to do that. And you just do that until EMS arrives.
100 per minute?
At least 100 per minute.
So
we actually want it to be a little more.
It's pretty quick.
Yes. Fast and deep. That's what we keep talking about. Fast and deep.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Brenda, let's go back to you and talk about these AEDs. Is it automatic external defibrillator? Is that the correct terminology?
Automated external defibrillator. Yeah.
And I know they've saved lives, haven't they?
Yes, they've saved a lot of lives. There was just one recently, actually, that we heard about in our community with a teen that went down, and I think it was a teacher or a coach that got the AED and saved their life. So, yes, they're a fabulous tool.
And those, as I understand it, are pretty self-explanatory, don't they? They use audio where, you turn the machine on and it basically walks you through it, right? It
does. It's made to be for the public. They work through at a 3rd grade level. They have flashing lights. They have pictures. So really the important piece with those, and the first step that we teach, is you turn it on. So you've got to get it there and you get it turned on. And once you turn it on, it even starts with simple things like stay calm, call 911. So it really does walk you through each step, and you'll just follow along. And when it asks you to do something, you do that piece. And then it does the hard work. It assesses, it determines whether or not we have, if a shock is needed. It has a little flashy light that tells you when to push for a shock, and it'll prompt you to go right back into CPR. So it really is made for the public.
Some other community education classes on this topic. You mentioned to me earlier, don't you mix in basic first aid instruction as well? Okay,
so hands only is the basic level, and then from there we move up into our friends and family course, which is an American Heart Association course, and that's the one that we teach at our good babysitting classes. So that's made for children, and it's instructional. They cover adult, child, and infant in that class, and they do some first aid. The next level up from there is probably most likely what the community would be signing up for, and those are CPR courses, and the CPR portions include the AED, so you're going to learn about that automated external defibrillator, and then we also offer first aid courses at that heart saver level. And then then beyond that, the next one would be if you took a basic life support course, and those are usually for like healthcare providers, or those might be people that are getting ready to attend a nursing program, or maybe they work in a daycare facility. That's generally the level that they're required to take.
So there would be some classes that in the professional side of healthcare that might need to take these classes as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, this piece of it with the CPR classes. So are these range from length of time? Are they usually offered? Are they a couple hours, or how? What is the range? Great question.
So if you're going to come and take the Heart Saver CPR AED initial course, it's going to be about 4 hours. If you come and just want the Heart Saver First Aid class, it's about 4 hours. And if you want the combination class, it's about an 8-hour course for the day. So you can take any either or and come and participate. And then we do offer renewals. So if people have had the class in the past, the certifications are good for 2 years. And so at the 2-year mark, you come back and take a renewal. And renewals are much less. Our renewal class is usually an hour and a half to renew for each piece.
I want to ask both of you. I'll start with you, Megan, since the mic's closest to you. And I want Brenda to give me her thoughts, too. But what is, in your teaching of these classes relative to CPR, what are maybe one that really stands out of something that one of your students, whether it's an adult or say a teenager, that they learned, or maybe that was a real aha moment that stands out from you that really drives home why you do what you do as an educator in the CPR side of things?
Okay. I think for me, you can really see a student when the light turns on and when they get it. And I think a lot of people come and they're very apprehensive. They're not sure about, am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to remember the numbers? Am I going to be able to perform this correctly? There's a written test and they're nervous about that. But what the reward is when they walk away and they say, I learned so much, or I feel like I could do this. And the best thing is when they return for some reason, and I will see them out in the community or, later on, and they'll say, my cat choked and I was helping my cat, or
regular compressions, 100 per minute.
Yeah. or that they, that my grandfather was showing these signs or these symptoms, and if I had not taken that class, I would not have recognized that was the sign of a stroke or that was a sign of a heart attack. And so when it's really affecting those individual lives, their individual story, and each one matters. And so when they come and they take these courses and they're prepared, and then I see it come full circle, that's a wonderful feeling to know that I was a part of that. And I think that my instructors feel that way too. They're passionate about relaying this information and empowering people to be prepared and to take care of themselves and their families and their loved ones and to be a support in the community.
Brenda, from your view, as one of those instructors, you get a lot of satisfaction out of it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You get the participants that come in and they're nervous, they're unsure, they don't know what they're doing. And I feel like it's my job to give them the confidence, give them the skills. We do a lot of practicing, a lot of hands-on, and I just want them to walk away feeling like, I can do this. I understand this. AHA has done a great job over the last number of years kind of simplifying it so it's more user-friendly, if you will. There's a lot of talk out there about the AEDs as well, too, and people often come in and go, oh my gosh, what is that? I don't want to touch it. It's going to shock me, and oh my goodness. And so we give them an opportunity to look at that and practice and listen to it and see it, and it makes them more aware that, these are out there, out in the community, and I could do this. If I had to, I could do this.
And do you find that people, it's okay, I mean, not to use the word mistake, but if they don't get it 100% right in administering CPR or assisting someone, that just acting alone is a good step.
Yeah, that's what I always tell them. If you did 29 compressions instead of 30, it's okay. Doing something is always better than doing nothing at all.
We're visiting with Brenda Shiplet, Megan Boucher, and Becca Bender, and we're talking about educational offerings that you, the public, can take advantage of. And you know what? It doesn't matter your age. There are classes that Kadlec offers and we're going to get into them in the second part of our program. I want to get into more detail about this babysitting class, but Becca and her friends over at the Healthplex have a whole ton of classes that you might not even be aware of that you're going to want to learn about, and we'll do that when we come back with more of Kadlec on Call. Back with more in just a minute.
You're listening to Kadlec on Call on 610 KONA. This program provides general information only. Any comments or information presented are strictly for educational purposes. Kadlec and 610 KONA do not endorse any of the suggestions made by the presenter or callers. Now back to Kadlec on Call. Once again, Jim Hall.
And back for the second part of Kadlec on Call, and tonight we're educating you about all of the educational offerings available at Kadlec Regional Medical Center. We're visiting with Megan Boucher and Brenda Shiplet and Becca Bender. And Becca works at the Healthplex over on Lee Boulevard in Richland, and they have a wide array of classes. I know you work in cardiac rehab with some of the folks recovering from heart attack and heart surgery, Becca, but you also are part of a group that does a ton of fitness-oriented, wellness-type classes, right?
Yes, we do things for the community and for employees, but there's plenty that the community can participate in for a small fee. It's called a Wellness Punch Card, and you can purchase one of those at the Healthplex with the registration desk. And how it works is every time you go to one of the classes, we have a Strengthen, Stretch, and Renew, a Better Bones and Balance, a Breast Cancer Survivor class, and Tai Chi. And all 4 of those classes, so you can use it for all of them. You go in, get a punch, 8 sessions, $25, so very affordable. And each class has its own specialties with it. So,
all right. Now, you piqued my interest on a few of those titles. They're good marketing, I think. Better Bones and Balance. Explain.
So this class is meant for people with osteoporosis or at risk of osteoporosis. So it gives them that weight bearing to either reverse or prevent osteoporosis, and men, women in that class. And you do balance exercises, aerobic portions, strengthening, work with different equipment, run like a group exercise class. We do circuit training. Kind of got to keep it interesting.
I bet it's fun do you find the attendees realize I would imagine there's a fair amount of fear of they're worried that they're going to hurt themselves worse. And so is that part of the training and part of the education and the class itself? With
the Better Bones and Balance class, we have a physical therapist who comes in once a month. And I work closely with Paul as well. And he monitors body mechanics because there's certain disease-specific things with osteoporosis that you shouldn't do because it increases your risk for fractures. And so by having that education portion and being to work one-on-one with Paul, a lot of people really enjoy that aspect of the class, as well as exercise. So there is education as well.
And the Tai Chi is pretty self-explanatory for people that want to participate in that, right?
Yes, it's more like mind-body relaxing. They use slow, controlled movements. It's great for balance, strength. If you can't stand up and need a chair, Dave's great and will modify things for you. And that's a just all-around good class for the spirit as well. And it was actually developed by a doctor and martial artist named Paul Lamb. And that's what Dave uses to implement the program. And
I've got to watch that, and it's really neat to see Dave work. And I think the term he kept saying, "embrace the tiger." I always joke with him when I see him. But it's really fascinating to sit in there and watch how that works. And by the end, you see that the people have had a workout, haven't they?
Oh, they have, and it's grown so much over the past year since we've been at the Healthplex. Before, he was offering it in the cardiac rehab, mostly to the phase 3 patients, and there was just a handful of them, and now I see 10 people coming out of that room, and it's pretty awesome, and they come to my class, too, and they love it. Lots of good things to say.
And for the breast cancer survivors class, I know there's some special fitness relative to folks who have been impacted by breast cancer.
Yeah, you do a lot of shoulder work, and that class is actually monitored once a month by a certified lymphedema therapist. And she comes in, and any part like their arm or their leg, if they're worried about the swelling from the lymphedema, she tracks the measurements from month to month so you can see if you're down or up, and then you can address those concerns with her as well. And that's a great class for them as a support group as well. So they're getting their exercise in, but they also get to talk to each other about what they've been through. And that's what I love most about the class, actually, is just hearing them talk to each other.
I'm going to have you expand on that because I was just going to ask you, your eyes light up when you talk about these classes that you teach. And I would imagine that you feel a lot of satisfaction when you working with whoever it is that's taking advantage of these class offerings.
Yes, just being able to see someone's progress from start to where they come. So you see them, they're out of shape, they have bad posture, and then all of a sudden you see them and like, do you even need me to instruct you anymore? Like, you're doing awesome. And so just to see them get stronger and feel better about themselves is a great reward.
And one other, you were telling me, we touched on it in the first part, pediatric yoga, is that right?
Yes, and so that's taught by Megan Marston. She's also a physical therapist, and she has 2 groups. One is for 5 to 10-year-olds, and another group is 11 to 18-year-olds. And the class caps at 12, but that one's just great. The kids, it's good for relaxation. They learn flexibility, body awareness at such a young age, and it kind of gives them that keep active because they're more likely to stay inactive if they're inactive as a child. So it's good to get them exposed to exercise at a young age.
So I was sitting there. How do you guys sit around going, you know what? We need to offer yoga for young kids. I mean, what do you read? Do you read research that really is effective in helping kids get healthier?
She actually started it through therapy for the kids. So some of the hyper kids she was taking in there kind of to calm them down and use yoga in that aspect to kind of control their behavior. And then it just was everyone wanted to do it. And so she expanded to, instead of just through physical therapy, offering it out to the community.
And I know we have touched on this particular class offering that Kadlec has in previous shows, but I know you are part of it, the Kadlec Academy, Becca, and that's been a very successful year as you're just wrapping up yet another school year with kids, right?
Yes, they're just wrapping it up now. They're still going to do a few summer camp sessions with CBRC, but we were in over 30 schools in all of Pasco, Kennewick, and Richland, and we saw about 1,422 kids. And it teaches the kids and their families to eat healthy and exercise, and it's such a great program, and the kids have a ton of fun.
So you're involved in that?
Yes.
You get out working with these guys? Mm-hmm. How do you train a kid versus an adult, or is it the same?
It's a lot different. The kids are a little more wild, and you kind of more playful with them, and the adults are more serious most of the time, and you don't really have to go over the R's, respect, and all that kind of thing with the adults. They're more respectful. They don't interrupt you. The kids, you kind of, okay, hands to yourself. Don't throw dirt at each other.
So you gotta get that fine line. But the important point is to get in there into the schools, and it's been really neat. The growth of this program is amazing.
It is. It started in just a couple schools, and in the last couple years, we're in over 30 now, and hopefully to have all of them by the end of it all. And the schools, the administrators, the parents ask for it. They want us to come, and the kids love it, and so.
Okay, now what classes haven't we touched on here? Let me get my list here. We've touched on.
So
you have the warm water therapy. Mom and baby fitness class.
See, that one we tried doing that and no one
Okay, so that one is
so that one didn't quite work out.
On that one. Okay.
But we have the strengthen, stretch, and renew, which is more like a sit and be fit class for people who maybe aren't as mobile. You can stand in that class as well, but it mostly just helps people with activities of daily living, functional things, just maybe the exercise to help their range of motion in their shoulders so they can reach and grab that soup off the shelf and make their dinner.
So they're like, these are what, 1 hour? It's not like you got to go spend the whole day there, right?
No, they're all 1 hour classes, and that's warm-up components, aerobics, resistance, and then a cool down of stretching proportion too. So it's well-rounded.
And I think you touched on an important point. You meet these people where they're at, as far as physically, whatever stage they're at or condition and ability is I would imagine that's important.
Oh, and it's everywhere. Yeah, it's all across. You have really functional, you have the less functional, not so mobile, coming in with walkers or canes, and so.
Awesome. That's Becca Bender, who is with Kadlec Regional Medical Centers. She's a fitness specialist. She wears many hats, it sounds like. Tonight she's here talking about the classes available at the Kadlec Healthplex, and we've touched on a number of them. I know there's a list. If you go to the Kadlec's website at kadlec.org and visit the Healthplex section, it has a rundown of not only all of the services available at the Healthplex, but some of these class offerings. And if you would like to sign up for any of the classes available at the Healthplex, the number to call is 942-2660, 942-2660. And if you want to sign up for some of the classes relative to CPR instruction, first aid, prepared childbirth, a good babysitting course, you can call, or you actually go online to sign up for those courses. Just go to the Kadlec website, kadlec.org, and on the main page, look for register for a class. It's easy to find, and that also has a way to a list of all the classes that are available and when they are offered. And so lots of activity for you to be available. We have to take our final break of the evening. We're going to be back with more concluding comments relative to educating you about living a healthier life. You and your family, your kids, your parents, your grandkids, wherever you are in your life, you have a role to play in it to make it a healthier community. Back with our final segment of Kadlec on Call in just a moment.
You're listening to Kadlec on Call on 610 KONA. This program is not a substitute for direct consultation with your own healthcare provider. Always consult your healthcare provider for your specific condition, especially if you have or suspect you may have a medical problem. Now back to Kadlec on Call. Here again, Jim Hall.
And just a couple of minutes left tonight on Kadlec on Call, and we're talking about community education offerings at Kadlec Regional Medical Center. Everything from prepared childbirth to CPR to pediatric yoga to Better Bones and Balance to Tai Chi. A lot of different things available, and really, it's very impressive, really, to listen and learn about all of the different offerings. And again, it doesn't require a lot of your time. Maybe an hour here, a couple hours there, and you're going to be better off for it. So we've been having a lot of fun with Megan and Becca and Brenda. And before we go, I just wanted to touch a couple of things. There's one other we haven't really touched on yet, and that's a first aid only. Is that right, Brenda? Tell us about that class.
Yeah, it could be a first aid only class, or you could take a first aid in combination with our CPR and AED course as well. But first aid, it really goes back to those basics of first aid, a little more than just putting a Band-Aid on it. But it might be something you think about taking now that the weather's getting nice. Boy Scouts are out camping, church camp, sports are in, full season. It's a class that any leader might want to take, anybody that's leading a group. But it covers everything from things like choking to treating bleeding, sprains, breaks, things of those nature. But it also covers things that you might encounter being outdoors, like heat exhaustion, frostbite, snake bites, things like that. So it's a really good overall basic first aid class. And again, there's the hands-on practice. We actually practice bandaging. Mm-hmm. So it's, come prepared to watch, to listen, and to get your hands in there and do some things.
And Megan Boucher, I want to touch a minute. We didn't get a lot of detail, is on the babysitting classes that are offered as well. Obviously, school's about ready to be out, and a good opportunity for kids to learn how to become a babysitter.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. They come in, and in that class, they're going to, like I said, they're going to first focus on how to keep themselves safe, how to get the job. We actually start and teach from like a resume. So we talk to the kids about learning about what days they might be available, what ages are appropriate for them to be babysitting and for how long, what's the going rate. And so we help them with all of those things as they prepare to move in to this babysitting phase. The other thing I want to mention is that this is not just for young women. This is also for young men. Mm-hmm. Lots of young men are either helping with siblings or now are venturing out and doing babysitting as well. In this class, we also do cover, like I said, that the family and friends portion. So they do the CPR. They also are doing the first aid. They're learning, how to care for those children that they're going to be overseeing. And in turn, also, it helps with the siblings they may have at home and or parents or grandparents, other situations that they might be in, so that they feel prepared and comfortable and confident that they can respond to those kind of emergencies or those situations.
So it's not only something for a child to learn how to do as they get older in their high school age and that age group, but obviously you brought up an interesting point, the family situation where, mom and dad might be at work and they need the high school age son to take care of younger brother and sister. Yeah.
Or dad has the heart attack and goes down and needs son to help rescue him. So absolutely, we all are surrounded by people, whether it's our families or our community, friends and neighbors, and that at any time could need us to be that hero. They need us to be that first responder. And it makes you really proud and really grateful when you have those skills, when you're the person that can step forward and how to help. Mm-hmm. What you can do to make this bad situation better. And that's what a lot of our classes do. It's the best skill you'll ever learn and hope you never need to use.
Yeah, I was going to say. I would bet that's great advice. We have just a couple of seconds for each of you to come around, and you've kind of touched on it, but I want you to just maybe leave our audience with a takeaway moment. Obviously, all of you, I can sense the passion in your voice for doing instruction. Let's start with you, Becca. Just from your role, you work with kids, you work with adults, and everybody in between. Just maybe a parting message for our listeners at home tonight.
Well, I would say it's never too early or too late to begin a healthy lifestyle and exercise and get moving.
Very good. All right, Megan, from your view, again, that passion I can sense in all of you, but from the educational offerings, is that why you do what you do and why Kadlec offers such a breadth of course offerings?
Absolutely. We look at each individual and we want to meet a need in their life and help them to better themselves in some way. And one of the things I was talking about earlier, too, was the idea that you can also give these things as a gift. You know, if you have someone in your life that you want to have these skills and to be able to share these opportunities, you know, get a gift certificate and you know, pay for the course and let them come and learn and come with them. Come as a team or a group and learn these things. But we do have a passion. All of my instructors that work for me are incredible people, and they don't just do this, you know, for the money or for the job. They do this because they love people and they love giving them the information that is relevant and that will help to better their lives. So it really is a wonderful opportunity.
And Brenda Shiplett, you get the last word as one of those educators that does a lot of different offerings, and I know you really enjoy what you do.
Yeah, I love what I do. I love to just inform people and to ease people's minds that they can do something, and it's not going to be as scary or as hard or as complicated as they might think or they might worry about. And so just come. You can never have too much education or never be too prepared.
Well, I want to, before we go, thank all of you for taking time out of a Wednesday night. Becca Bender, thank you. Megan Boucher, great work. And Brenda, as always, thanks for joining us. See, that was easy, wasn't it? I did some good community education for you three tonight. No, but I appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight and share really. You don't realize all the different offerings that are available, and really it doesn't take a lot of time or money. The classes are nominal fees to cover the costs of providing them. And again, just before we go, so how you can access and learn more about the class offerings, a couple of different ways to do that. And you can do that by visiting Kadlec's website. Go to kadlec.org, and you can register for a class. You can visit the Healthplex portion of the Kadlec.org site and learn about the class offerings that the Healthplex has. Also, to sign up for the register for a class, that's the CPR classes, the babysitting courses, the first aid, and the prepared childbirth. That is where you want to go to the register for a class. And the phone number 942-2660 for the Healthplex. So and if they don't have that class that you're looking for, they can refer you where to go. So at any rate, go to kadlec.org. There's plenty of information on all of the educational offerings to help you whatever has piqued your interest tonight. Again, thanks to our guests,